16. So you all should be down at problem number 16. Now this is the question number 16 is asking you. What is the limiter? That's a typo, sorry. So it says, what is the limiter in the following reaction when you're given 42 grams of H2 and 92 grams of O2? Now what they give you, or what we gave you, was the following reaction. So the reaction we gave you was 2 H2 plus O2 yields 2 H2O. So this is the formation of water. Now it tells you to draw the map. So we know from the problem we are given, this is our given, we are given 42 grams. I got this number straight out from the problem. I'm given 42 grams of hydrogen and 92 grams of oxygen. So this comes straight from the problem. Now, number 1, step 1 tells you to draw the map. So I'm going to draw the map right now. So I have H2 and I want to know how much H2O I'm going to produce. And what is step 1 always? Step 1 always is convert to moles of H2. We want to convert to moles of H2 because we want to know how many atoms or how many molecules of H2 we have in 42 grams. Right? We want to know the number of things, not how much it weighs. And step 2 would be your mole ratio. And finally, step 3 would be grams of H2O. So we have to convert back to grams of H2O. And we do the same up here for oxygen. I'm just going to write 1 here, 2, and 3. So for oxygen, you convert to moles of O2, then the molar ratio, then 3, you go to grams of H2O. So it's the same process. So that was step 1. We drew our map. Now step 2. We have to find the molar masses. Alright, so we're going to find the molar masses for all 3. I'm just going to show you how to find H2O. So I'm going to do H2O right now, but you're going to have to find the molar masses for H2 and O2. So here's how to find the molar mass of H2O. Remember, let's look at H2O. H2O, I have hydrogen. How many hydrogens do I have? I have 2 hydrogens. I multiply that by the molar mass on your periodic table for hydrogen, which would be 1.01 grams. And that would equal 2.02 grams. Now I look at oxygen. How many oxygens do you have in water? I have 1 oxygen. You multiply that by the molar mass on the periodic table, and that's 16 grams. So if you look on the periodic table under oxygen, you'll have 16 grams you'll find there. So you do 1 times 16, 16 grams. I add these 2 numbers together, and I get 18.02 grams. So now I'm going to place this number up here. So I already found the molar masses of all 3, so I want you to find them on your own. For H2, the molar mass I found was 2.02 grams. For O2, the molar mass I got was 32 grams. And we just found H2O, and we found the molar mass to be 18.02 grams. The stuff we do later in the problem. So the next box says dimensional analysis. For H2. This is how we're going to solve stoichiometry problems. So remember, in stoichiometry, we always are looking for two things. What's the limiter and how much product we're going to make. So this is how we're going to determine the limiter. We want to go through our mind map here that we made up here with the 1, 2, 3 steps in the map. So with stoichiometry, we always start with what we're given. And what were we given? Like in the problem, they give you 42 grams of hydrogen. So that's what you start with. Start with 42 grams of H2 over 1. Now step 1 says convert to moles of H2. When we convert to moles, we want moles of H2 on top. And in the denominator, we're going to put the molar mass, because this is the mass of 1 mole. It's just almost like setting up a proportion. Now we have grams of H2 in our numerator and grams of H2 in our denominator. They can cancel out. Alright, now we want to do step 2. So that was step 1 already. Now we're going to do step 2, which is molar ratio. So molar ratio, we're going to look at our chemical equation. Now we know we have 2 moles of H2O, so I'm going to write that down here. I just simply found it from the balanced chemical equation. 2 moles of H2O are produced from 2 moles of H2. What am I able to cancel out now? Let's look. I have moles of H2 over here. I can cancel out with moles of H2 over here. That's our second step. Now step 3, convert back to grams of water. So I know in 1 mole of water, 1 mole of H2O weighs, looking back up molar mass, 1 mole of H2O weighs 18.02 grams. I simply cross out moles of H2O here because they cancel out. Now all I'm left with is grams of H2O. And that is what I'm looking for. As in step number 3 says, convert to grams of H2O. So I multiply all my numerator, all the numbers in my numerator, which is 42 times 1 times 2 times 18.02. I multiply and I get a number and divide it by all the numbers in the denominator, and you get a final number of 375 grams. So I'm going to take this number 375 and write it right here. I'm going to write it back into the map, 375 grams. Analysis for reactant O2. So I'm going to